Hey guys, it's Kevin again, and I know what you guys are probably asking, where the hell have your reviews for Jane the Virgin been? Well guys, this show, I was planning on reviewing individually to you guys. I reviewed the first episode individually, but I ended up not reviewing any other episodes individually. And I'm going to be reviewing the first half of the season of Jane the Virgin. And excluding episode 1, because I already reviewed it. If you guys want to check out my review, is up on YouTube. Check it out there. But this is going to be excluding the first episode. It's going to be talking about the rest of the season besides that, and some of the things I really like, some of the big plot points. Huge spoilers, major spoilers. If you guys have not seen the mid-season finale, definitely major spoilers coming your way. But let's talk about this season overall. So, of course, you guys don't know the plot of Jane the Virgin. What I decided to do initially was that there were two shows that I knew I was not going to review individually. This and Once Upon a Time. And that was just because I didn't want to review every show I reviewed individually. And Jane the Virgin really was not a show you have to review individually. I mean, there's stuff that happens every episode, but it's very easy to understand. It's not hard to explain or anything, so it's not like it's, hard to explain. But what have I thought of this season of Jane the Virgin overall? Let me get to my overall thoughts on it. My overall thoughts in the season this has been the most surprising show for me of the year. I did not expect to like the show as much as I did. I did not expect to love it as much as I did. I did not expect to fall in love with the show as much as I did. I didn't expect the show to have as much heart as it did. I didn't expect to have as much humor as it did. This is one of the funniest shows of the year. This is one of the most dramatic shows of the year. This has some of the best twists of the year. Like, really everything. This show has some really fantastic stuff, and definitely probably the most surprising hit for the CW, definitely. I mean, I believe 2 episodes in, the show got renewed for 22 episodes, so that's awesome. But let's talk about some things this season. Now, of course, the central plot of the show I talked about already. You know, Jane is a woman who ends up getting artificially inseminated. She's a virgin. She didn't actually have sex with anyone. She gets artificially inseminated, and something ends up happening where she has a baby, but the donor is a married man who is a former playboy and also a former teenage crush. And where we left off, basically, it was a question of what she was going to do with the baby. So that's a big question throughout the whole season. And where we leave off, Michael really wants to be a father to this baby. He really wants to care for it and everything. And Jane and Michael didn't have too much chemistry, in my opinion. They had chemistry here and there, but you could tell as the season went on, their relationship was definitely deteriorating. You could just tell. Because scenes where Jane and Raphael were together had so much more chemistry. What I liked, though, is that the show did not make Michael a bad guy, and I'll talk about why. But very quickly, the love triangle with Raphael, Michael, and Jane started. But it wasn't like a weird love triangle. It made sense, because Raphael and Jane had chemistry. It definitely made sense what was going on. Plus, Raphael's wife, Petra, is a complete bitch and everything. And we do find out a lot more about her, which I'll definitely talk about. But, Jane, basically, you can tell that she really wants to be with Michael. She really wants to give this baby to Michael and everything. And she's planning on it. But what Michael ends up doing is he finds out about Petra's affair with Roman. And, of course, Roman is Raphael's best friend, who was also the guy that Petra was cheating on Raphael with. And basically, he blackmailed Petra that he was not going to give the baby, that Jane was not going to give the baby to her alone unless Raphael approved of it. And, Raphael wanted to be a father, but he said, look, I'm not going to give you this baby until you admit the truth. And that storyline was very well done. It very quickly ended, though, because very quickly Roman is murdered. Episode 2, the end of it, Roman is murdered. So there's no chance, So now Petra's, scot-free and everything. I thought that was a very interesting twist. They killed off someone very quickly, and especially Roman. I knew someone was going to die, but, when they did that, I'm like, that is so cliche. But remember, guys, this is a spoof of telenovelas. What I like the show does, though, is that it's not a complete spoof. There is stuff in here that is serious, and you are meant to be taken seriously. For example, any scene with Jane and Raphael is very sweet. Any scene between them, I thought, was very well done. They had very good chemistry, very sweet together, and that really was not, I would say, one of the only things that was meant to be taken seriously. There are some very good scenes with them, definitely, but I thought it was interesting that very early in the season, Jane and Michael ended up breaking up. I mean, you could definitely see it coming. The relationship was definitely starting to deteriorate, especially after episode 5 when Jane realized that Michael knew about the affair between that Petra was having with Roman the entire time. I thought that was very well done, definitely. I mean, Jane obviously is pretty upset with him because that's something that was pretty big for Raphael. So clearly she's pretty upset with him about that. And Raphael ends up ending him with Petra. You know, Petra really wants to be Raphael. She gives him all these, like, you know, things. She tells him, oh, I'll do this for you, I'll do this for you. But he's like, no, 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 we're done. And I like that he, you know, didn't hold it back. He's like, we're done. I want nothing to do with you. I don't want you in my life anymore. But Petra does not stop there. Petra, for the rest of the season, wants to basically destroy Raphael. He wants to destroy everything that good that Raphael has and basically destroy his wealth, you know, through, you know, she got married because she got, you know, the only reason she got married to him is to steal his wealth. So, you know, of course, one of the things that she wants to do is, you know, basically get him out, you know, get him away from, you know, owning the hotel and everything so she can take full claim of it, take his money and things like that, get him in big, big trouble. And that's basically what Petra wants to do. And I gotta say, y'all, Grobe Glass portrayed that character very, very well. And I thought she did a very good job with that. But, of course, Jane and Raphael, you know, you can see the constant chemistry with them. Of course, Jane breaks up with Michael. But, Jane and Raphael, you know, this is episode 6, and I think that's when I really started to, like, really love this show, was in episode 6. Episode 6 is when I really got into it. And, of course, in episode 6, Jane and Raphael ended up kissing, and they started to have a relationship, but Jane said, I don't think this is going to work, you know, Michael is going to interfere with Michael, but she basically told him that she just didn't really have those feelings for him anymore. I like that she was straight up with him about that. The other thing I like the show did is that it did not turn Michael into a villain. I thought what the show was going to do was going to have some really stupid twist where Michael would turn into, would have some sort of really stupid twist, where, like, he would be the one to, like, have murdered Roman or something, or he would have done something bad, but that's not what they did. Instead, Michael leads an investigation to find out what's going on with Roman's murder. And that's basically what he does for the rest of the season. I like that he did that. I like that he still had stuff to do in the show. I like that the show didn't just get rid of Michael after Jane said to him, we're done. I like that they didn't just get rid of him. So, but he, the whole season, is completely against Raphael, does not want him involved in Jane's life. He thinks that he is a terrible influence for her. You know, he wants nothing to do with her and everything. You know, he wants nothing to do with him. And, for a very large, Michael stumbles upon this case, and they're basically the only like thing he knows about this case is a very like secret hidden name. So he doesn't really know who it is, and that name is I can't remember what the name is. Shit, guys, I can't remember what it is. But basically, he, you know, wants to find out more about what's going on in this case and everything. He wants to, you know, do some damage control and things like that with this case, find out who's involved in it and things like that. And basically, oh, what the fuck is the name of the case? I can't remember. I can't remember what the name was. Let me find it. Sorry, guys, but, like, I can't remember the name. When you don't review a season, when you don't review a season, I mean, you forget things. So, I know Swiss something, I know that. But there's, like, this very secret with this, you know, he has no idea who it could be. He doesn't have any really, idea of who this person could be, and he's investigating it for the rest of the season with this girl who at first he really does not get along with at all, Nadine. I thought her character was really good. You could definitely see chemistry between them. Like, you could tell these two were probably going to get together. You could just tell they were. The other thing, like, is that we actually found some backstory about Michael. His brother is a very bad person. You know, he just wants money. He cons people and things like that. And I like that we found some backstory about Michael. I definitely like that we saw that. We found a lot of backstory about a lot of the characters, actually, which I thought was very, very well done. I definitely really enjoyed that. Now, back to Jane and Raphael. When they get together, their main mission is to stay together. They're really the couple that you want to stay together, but they can't be together because things keep getting in their way. Whether it's Petra, whether it's Michael, things just keep getting in their way. And Jane is pretty convinced that it's not going to work between them. But Raphael, I love that he's willing to fight for it. And the chemistry between Gina Rodriguez and Justin Baldoni was fantastic. I thought they did very, very good chemistry with that, and I definitely really enjoyed that. And where we end their plot, basically, you know, for the season, is that they do end up, they do end up together. And he says to her, we work really good as a team and everything. And basically, he says that they work good together as a team. And they ended up taking down Petra. Petra ended up losing pretty much everything, because Petra, we found some very interesting stuff about her. Her name's not actually Petra. Her name is Natalia, and Natalia is actually this girl who has a mother, Magda, and she is a plastic surgery addict and a tarot reader, as well as Petra's co-conspirator in the family's plot to steal Raphael's hotel and wealth. And we find out in this episode that Petra, her mother was in a very freak accident and everything, and that's when Petra ended up losing things. And this episode, her cover is blown. She's revealed that, and we find out that the woman that she's pretending to be, Petra Zolano, died years ago. So she has, been under a false name and everything, and now Jane and Raphael, they cover the case and everything, and, now she loses everything. So it pretty much seems like that's where we end up ending the season at. So we'll talk more about that in a second, but now we need to get to Alba very quickly. Alba, who is Jane's mother. Now, the thing I want to talk about with Alba, which I thought was very interesting, I definitely really enjoyed this with Alba, is that Alba basically is, of course, Jane's grandmother, who is highly religious. She never speaks English, she always speaks Spanish. And we do find out, actually, that she is an illegal immigrant, which I thought was a very interesting twist. It made sense why, because, of course, she spoke Spanish. It made sense why she was an illegal immigrant. But I thought that was a very good twist. And where we end the season with Petra is that Magda ends up pushing Alba down the stairs. Alba falls down the stairs, and basically, she's presumed dead. So I don't know if she's dead or not, but fuck you, Magda, and fuck you, Petra. So I don't know. We'll have to see what happens there, but that's going to be, I don't know if Alba's dead or not, but that was a very well done storyline, in my opinion. I definitely really enjoy that. But also with Michael. Now, Michael eventually thinks that Raphael is the guy that is responsible for Roman's death. He eventually thinks it's Raphael that's responsible for it, which kind of makes sense. I mean, it would make sense if he kind of did, because, he was his best friend and everything. And Raphael, basically, especially because he knew Roman was in an affair and everything, it could definitely make sense what was going on there. But Raphael basically, says that he has nothing to do with it and everything. But Michael's on to me, wants to find some sort of evidence. And where we end the season, it seems like Raphael's innocent. He opens up a safe. There's nothing in it. There's no money there. So he's pretty much scot-free. So Michael and Nadine, they almost end up having sex, which I thought they were going to. But then we see this, thing open and everything. And there's, this small opening. And there's clearly something that Raphael is hiding. What it is, I don't know. But he is definitely hiding something. It's going to be interesting to see definitely what he is hiding. And I think that's a very well done plot. I really enjoy that. And it's definitely one of my favorite parts of the season. I'm really enjoying that, definitely. So now we need to talk about probably the most surprising plot for me. Well, I didn't really expect that they were going to go as in-depth with this plot as they did. But so, let's talk about Xiomara or So, who I honestly thought was originally just going to be a fun character that really was just a comedic character, which in some ways she was, but she actually had a real arc this season, and that was that she really always wanted to be a singer, and she wants to be a singer, she wants to become a world-famous singer and everything. Her, god is Paulina Rubio, who actually makes a cameo in the final episode, and I thought her arc was very good with her being a singer, especially in episode 6 when she sang at that wedding. She sang Dream a Little Dream Me in Spanish. That was such a good scene. I really enjoy that. And Andrea Navido, surprisingly, was probably one of the best of this show. She had some very good dramatic scenes. Her and Gina Rodriguez had some very great chemistry. I thought they had some great scenes together, definitely. And they were definitely both very, very good actors. And I was surprised by how far they really went with that. But the other thing, of course, is with Rogelio, who very quickly ended up becoming my favorite character on this show. Rogelio de la Vega is probably by far one of my favorite characters on this show. He, of course, we didn't see much of him in episode 1, but in episode 2, him and Zoe end up getting back to their, getting back together, really, really quickly, end up in a sexual relationship and everything. We don't know what's going on there. But eventually, Jane finds out that Rogelio is there. She's kind of pissed at Zoe for not telling her. and she wants to meet up with Rogelio, and I like that Rogelio was a good guy. I like that he really wanted to just bond with Jane. I thought that was well done, because I was wondering how they were going to portray it. It seemed like they were going to portray him as like this douchebag and everything, but no, throughout the whole season, we're seeing that he's not actually a bad guy. He's not just a self-centered idiot like we all thought he was. You know, he actually is trying to have a relationship with Jane, and he really wants to have a, you know, relationship with her and everything. And he also has feelings for So, and he actually has legitimate feelings for her. And for a while, I didn't really know, you know, if they were going to portray them in a relationship, but now it seems like they are, because So dated this one guy who she had nothing in common with and ended up, you know, ending very, very quickly. But basically, very quickly that ended, and basically that ended up ending very quickly, and she went back to Rogelio, and Rogelio actually ended up doing something for her. Rogelio had this whole award ceremony, and he did not win. Very, very funny stuff. Rogelio had some of the funniest stuff. Anytime that he talks, anytime you see him on the telenovela screen, I lose it. Anytime he talks about the telenovelas, I lost it. He definitely provides the comedic stuff to this show. But I mean, everyone really does, especially the narrator, which we will definitely talk about. But he ends up getting Zoe a confrontation from Paulina Rubio. Basically tell her, no, this is not the end, okay? You got rejected, who cares? If this is your true passion, if this is what you really like to do, you should pursue it because you're really good. And I like that Paulina Rubio gave for that advice, and I like seeing that because I really like Zoe's arc. I'm surprised by how much I liked it, but I definitely really did enjoy it. Now, let's talk about the thing that really makes the show funny, and that is Anthony Mendez as the narrator. He just got funnier and funnier every single episode. Really, he did. And his narrations were funnier. His recaps were funny. This is a show that you actually want to see the previous thing of, because it gets funnier and funnier every episode. And he knew what to do. He knew what kind of show he was doing. It really shows you're not supposed to take this show that seriously. But I do like that the show does have heart, though. It does have genuine heart, like the stuff with So and anytime that Jane and Zoe have a scene, it's very heartwarming. Anytime that Jane and Rafael have a scene, it's very heartwarming. There are some very funny scenes with them occasionally, but there is heart to the show, which I definitely like. It's not just it's a fun show, really. It's a fun show, but I like that it does have heart to it. I like that it's not just a parody, because I don't think it'd be as good if it was that. Now, let me talk about the one plot that I didn't really like this season. Now, it wasn't that I didn't like it, but everything else that was going on, I didn't really care about this one. I liked it, but I didn't really love it that much. I thought it was just an okay plot. I didn't think it was anything special. I thought that the actress portrayed this character very well. I just wasn't really into it. And that was Louise's plot. I was not really into her plot this season. I thought her plot was okay. Her plot is basically that she ends up falling in love with her stepmother, which is very soap opera-ish. I thought it was a well-done plot. I like the way they executed it. She ended up going to an insane asylum, and that's basically how it ended there. But that's basically all we saw that, and I thought that was kind of rushed. I felt like it was it made sense why they did it, you know, because you had to have something with her, because of course she was the doctor that inseminated Jane, and you had to have some sort of plot with her, but I felt like they only did that to have some sort of plot with her, and I thought it was well done. I just didn't really like it that much. But the directing to the show is still fantastic. The, you know, editing is fantastic, everything, and the show is so fast-paced, and it throws so much at you, but it works because, again, it's a telenovela. It's a parody of telenovela. It's a parody of, you know, Spanish soap operas, which move very quickly and get crazier and crazier as they go on. And Jane the Virgin really, it does have a plot. It's not too crazy, actually, which I like about it. And I like that it makes fun of telenovelas. Anytime you see one on screen, they're making fun of it. I love how one of the things I love about the show, they continue to do every episode, was how self-aware the show was. They knew that this is a parody of telenovelas. They know that we are going to laugh if they keep making fun of it, if they keep parodying at them. And it really did get funnier and funnier every single time. It's not one of those things where it's like a one-joke thing. No, it really got funnier every time they did, and I think they really succeeded very well with it. And every episode just got better and better and better, and I was surprised by how much I really ended up loving the show. But I'm actually really looking forward to the second half of the show. I thought this was a very good first half of the season, especially the twist with Alba. I did not expect her to die. I don't know if she's dead. We'll have to see what happens to her. But we know that Magda pushed her down the stairs, so we'll have to see what happens there, definitely. Definitely, I don't know what's going on with Rafael, but I don't really trust him right now. Let me know what you guys saw this season overall. I personally thought this was a very good way to start the season. I thought it was very well done. I really enjoyed it. I don't know if you guys enjoyed it, but I personally thought it was a very good way to start this first half of the season. I thought it was very, very good. And that's basically my review. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm sorry if this review was just okay, guys. That was because it was like in and out with the show. There were weeks where I didn't watch. There were weeks where I had to catch up on it. And also, the other thing I really like this show did, I forgot to talk about this. Every single episode, they would have a flashback to when Jane was a child, and they would tie it into a message in the episode, which I definitely really like. I like this show teaches messages. And probably my favorite is in episode 6, where we learn how Michael and Jane ended up meeting. And I thought that was very well done, because it made us care more about their relationship. It made us understand why their relationship is moving so fast and why it's not as strong anymore, because the way they met and everything. So I thought that was very well done. I definitely really enjoyed that, and that was definitely one of my favorite parts of this season. Definitely, I definitely really enjoyed the flashbacks that the show showed as well. Definitely. But that's basically my review of the first half of the season of Jane the Virgin. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And I guess that's pretty much it for this review. I mean, I really enjoy the show. I'm looking forward to the second half of the season. Let me know what you guys saw of this show. Was it as surprising as it was for me? I was so surprised by how much I really ended up liking the show. I really ended up loving it. But I'll see you guys in my next video, which will be for a movie review, because there's no TV till American Horror Story Freak Show. So there definitely gonna be movie reviews tomorrow. I don't know what they're gonna be for, but there's gonna be them. So stay tuned for those. Okay, bye.